Black Lives Matter School Week of Action. Ms. Watts.
Board of Education of Howard County resolution in recognizing Black Lives Matters at School Week of Action. Whereas a national movement of educators, parents, administrators, and scholars have come together to proclaim a Black Lives Matter at School year purpose, as well as a Black Lives Matter at School Week of Action of affirmation and solidarity. And whereas Black Lives Matter at School Week of Action will take place during the month of February to coincide with and augment Black History Month, the 2021 Week of Action is February 1st through 5th. And whereas Black Lives Matter at School emphasizes that schools should be places for the practice of equity, for the building of understanding, and for the active engagement of all in creating pathways to freedom and justice for all people. And whereas Black Lives Matter at School is intended to highlight, uplift, and affirm the rich history and contributions of the Black community and to cultivate in Black students a sense of pride, self-worth, and self-love. And whereas Black Lives Matter at School is further intended to encourage ongoing critical reflection and courageous conversations concerning systemic racism, social injustices, racial and ethnic bias, and to affirm the right of Black students to be treated with respect and dignity within schools and communities. And whereas the Black Lives Matter at School will offer a variety of educational opportunities such as workshops, teach-ins, and or panel discussions, cultural events, instructional activities, and expressions of unity. And whereas HCPSS has committed to implementing educational equity through passing policy 1080. Whereas the National Education Association, Maryland State Education Association, and the Howard County Education Association have all endorsed Black Lives Matter at School. And whereas a variety of student, community, and civic organizations and or groups will aid in facilitating and educating students and staff about selected topics as they pertain to Black Lives Matter at School. Therefore, be it resolved that Howard County Board of Education welcomes the participation of educators, staff, and students in community-based activities and events related to the Black Lives Matter at School. And be it further resolved that the Howard County Board of Education invites educators across grade levels and content areas to use vetted resources that are inclusive of all our diverse learners and in accordance with HCPSS policy 8040 selection of instructional materials to enrich instruction throughout the entire year. And be it further resolved that educators, staff, and students who participate in Black Lives Matter at School in alignment with all HCPSS policies will not face repercussions, punishment, reprisal, or reprimand. And be it further resolved that the Howard County Board of Education intends for meaningful activities to take place in all virtual school environments. The board also encourages educators, staff, and students to utilize HCPSS resources where applicable for activities and events related to Black Lives Matter at School. I move approval of the resolution recognizing Black Lives Matter at School Week of Action.
Second, Jolene.
Okay. Ms. Hanks, can you quote it?
Yeah, we have a motion by Ms. Watts and a second by Ms. Mosley to approve the resolution recognizing the Black Lives Matter at School Week of Action. Ms. Catronio.
I had a quick question. This doesn't seem to be the final version of the resolution.
I read the version that was in our packet that all the board last saw. This is the one that we were all delivered.
Right, can someone?
Yeah, I had the same question because it was not the most updated version.
The doctor
later updated it.
So actually, I guess that's a good question. Then how do we go about changing things? So the last version that was sent to all the board where we all got to comment on it was the one that I just read. And then if there's an update, it doesn't seem like we're doing those updates in our public session. And if there's a change to be made, if you want to offer an amendment, sure.
Yeah, it was posted on board doc.
Right, so that's not my question.
Yeah, so it was posted. And
okay, I think there's some differences. How about each board member take a turn and share your feedback? If you voted yes for the yes, if you voted no, no, how about that? I didn't expect this to happen, so Dr. Lu first.
So Actually, I saw several versions of this resolution, and also the board received many emails. And so basically, for the committee member who are watching this session and for the committee member who write to us, first I want to thank you for providing your input. Some of the, about this topic, because we receive letters either supporting or opposing this. First, I want to summarize some common ground. Even though people have different perspectives, I'm trying to find what is the common ground. I can see that for the people who either supporting or opposing this topic, they all want a good education for our children. And also I find a common theme that people prefer to have a diverse curriculum. And people express the desire to teach our children to be empathetic and teach our children compassion. And for most of the letters, I see that they're about the curriculum. Today, we're going to vote on a resolution, but I can see that for community members, they are very interested in the curriculum, what is covered in the curriculum. And now I will move on to the disagreement part. I have to summarize all the letters received. I read all the letters, even though I didn't have a chance to reply to all of you. So for the letters who are for this resolution, I can see that they mentioned they approve the letter that provided for the past years. And for the letters that provides some opposition of this curriculum, they mentioned that they found on the website is called Black Lives Matter at School, Year of Purpose, and they mentioned there is another curriculum. So there are some confusion from the community, because I can see that talking about the approved curriculum versus a curriculum found on the website. So I hope that we'll have staff member to clarify that to the community. And second one is I can see there are also some confusion about some people mentioned about the Black Lives Matter organization. And so I hope that the staff will also clarify what is the relationship between the organization and this resolution. And also see that there are letters regarding supporting the resolution, because one letter mentioned that they are afraid that if we vote down this resolution, then it implies that Black lives do not matter. Also see several letters mention that if we approve this, it implies that other lives don't matter. So I want to hope that we find a common theme, because what I can see is, it, regardless whether you're opposing or supporting this resolution, I see people want show that their lives matter and nobody want to be left out. So I see a common theme of funding a diverse curriculum and an inclusive environment. So basically, I want to summarize that even though there are letters opposing or supporting this resolution, but I find a common theme that is people want a diverse curriculum. People want compassion, empathy, and want a good education for our children. But because I didn't have chance to review the curriculum ahead of time, I received this curriculum this morning and I have all day work, so I cannot tell what exactly in the curriculum, but I want to present to the community so we can hear other perspectives regarding our personal opinions. Thank you.
Okay, Ms. Thomas-Moore.
So the version, the final version is what is posted on board docs and has been made available. So it was my understanding that that was to be voted on, since that we went through a process and the resolution was worked upon by everybody. So what I would like to do is to amend the motion to approve the version that is currently posted on board docs.
So, Ms. Watts, do you accept that amendment?
Point of order. Oh, sorry. Yeah. So that was, you're asking for,
Yeah.
I think we need clarification, because is that an amendment of the motion that's on the floor, or is that a revocation of the amendment that's on the floor, or the motion that's on the floor? And I think that question goes to you, Dr. Wu.
Yeah, there's a motion on the floor, right? So Ms. Damasmo wants to amend that. So we need a, Ms. Watts, do you want to accept that amendment?
Thank you.
Okay. So anything else?
Dr. Wu, you're cutting out. I can't hear you.
Okay. Okay, Ms. Damasmo, do you have anything else to say?
Other than the fact that I'm surprised that this is even happening, considering, as I said, there was back and forth between staff and the board as far as this particular motion, and that I believe Dr. Gilbert had sent it to staff and that it was posted on board docs.
Okay, so Ms. Quattronia, do you want anything to say? I wrote your name, but now you remove your hand.
I just, I think we should vote on what's posted publicly. And I'm sorry if there's been for whatever the breakdown of communication. I was fully ready to support what's posted and what I had thought was the final version of this, because this is a resolution coming from the board. So I'm just confused. I'm sorry that this has happened. But I think we should vote on what's been publicly posted and made available.
So Ms. Hanks, can you update? Okay, let's have the final speaker. Then I will have a summary, then have vote, see what happens. How about that? Ms. Damasmo, please.
I agree with my colleague, Ms. Catronio, that the motion is posted on board docs to be read, and that should be the motion that comes before the board, because that is what the process is.
So, Ms. Hanks, how do you think? Can we read a different version and then approve that?
Well, we have a motion on the floor, and
okay. So
vote on that.
basically, I would say I'm surprised too, and because I read both versions, every version is shared with the board, but since we have a motion on the floor, let's have a vote.
Okay, so we have a motion by Ms. Watts and a second by Ms. Mosley to approve the resolution. Ms. Catronio.
I had my hand raised to speak. I guess I can't speak again.
No, I didn't see it.
I'm sorry.
Sorry for that.
I'm just hesitant because I don't want the motion to fail, but I believe in voting on what's the final version and what's been posted. So I'm struggling with this, to be quite frank. I don't want it to fail.
Just vote.
Ms. Catronio, if it fails, then you can make a motion to approve the one that's posted on board docs.
It's difficult to ascertain when you're the first to vote. I'm going to vote yes.
Ms. Delmont Small.
No.
Mr. Kong.
Yes.
Dr. Liu.
Abstain.
I'm sorry.
Abstain.
Okay. Ms. Mallow.
Yes.
Ms. Mosley.
Yes.
Ms. Watts.
Yes.
Dr. Wu.
Yes.
Motion passes 6-1-1.
Okay, now we're moving to the bid of contracts. And board members, do you have any questions?